You are listening Sports Zone with Coach Tom Saintfiet, national team coach of Gambia.
Thank you very much, Coach Tom Saintfiet. It's our pleasure to have you here. Our first question will be about your very nice experience in AFCON in 2022. How did you made it all the way? Because we don't know Gambia on the map of African football, but you have made it through the qualification and then after through the group stage. How was your experience in AFCON?
Yeah, first of all, I have to say when I arrived in Gambia, it was in July 2018. Gambia was only 172 in the world. Only 39 countries were behind Gambia. And Gambia had not won a competitive match in 5 years. The last competitive win for Gambia was in September 2013 against Tanzania. And then 5 years, Gambia had no win. And then I stepped in and I told the people I'm here to qualify Gambia for Africa Cup. And my president and my vice president said, you're crazy because they didn't win a match for 5 years. But I really believe there was a lot of young talent. I saw a lot of matches in the local league. I traveled also a lot in Europe to find players who were playing there, some players who were born in Europe. And the last 3.5 years, 34 players made their debut. We had good results. We played 2 draws against Algeria, 1 a friendly against Morocco. But before this AFCON, we had to play a pre-qualification against Djibouti because Gambia was in the worst 8 countries of Africa. And we had to go through Djibouti with penalties. And then we came in a very difficult group with Gabon, with DR Congo and Angola. That was our qualification group. So 3 countries who were in 2019 also in the Africa Cup. And we won our group ahead of Gabon, ahead of Congo, and ahead of Angola. And then we came in AFCON for the first time in history. Gambia was 150 in the world when we started AFCON. It's the worst ever FIFA ranked team on the Africa Cup. And Gambia never played on a big tournament. So it was a big surprise. But we knew we had a good team. We were winning our group ahead of Congo, ahead of Gabon. We had played 2 draws against Algeria, as I said, 1 against Morocco, 1 against Guinea-Conakry in friendlies. So we knew we were good, but you never know how good you are in a tournament. And we made a mix. We have some experienced players who playing in Europe, some players who play 5th division, 4th division in Sweden, 5th division in Switzerland, some local-based players. It was a mixture, some young talent who was really coming up. And we tried to create a group with a good discipline. And our first game, we won immediately against Mauritania. And that was a big celebration for the team, for the staff, for the federation, and also for all the people in Gambia, because they never believed that Gambia is a very small country. If you look to Ethiopia, Gambia has only 2 million people. And Gambia is in size smaller than Lesotho and smaller than Eswatini, former Swaziland. So Gambia is the smallest country on the mainland, only 2 million people. A very poor country. Football players earn $30 a month in Gambia. Policemen earn $50 a month, so it's not a rich country. And then it was a really impressive start. We drew against Mali, and then we win against Tunisia. Second round was a big achievement, and then we win again against Guinea-Conakry. We got only kicked out by the host Cameroon with a 2-0 defeat. But yeah, quarterfinal, 6th position in the final ranking, 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. It's amazing for a debutant who is only 150 in the world. So it was a fantastic experience, but it was not only my job. I mean, I'm supported by good federation, good players, a good technical and medical team. It was a whole teamwork what we did.
Thank you, Coach. Our second question is, you gave chance for many diaspora players who played abroad from Gambia. Can it be an exemplary thing for the other countries in Africa? Because Gambia, most of the players came from abroad. So tell us about this thing.
Yeah, so when I arrived, the first year I watched many league matches. And I noticed every time when I invited the local-based player in the national team, immediately he got a contract abroad. Some players went to Europe, some players went to Senegal, to Morocco. because of the league in Gambia is not professional. If you look to Ethiopian league, where big clubs like Buna, like St. George, and others have really professional football with decent salaries, but in Gambia it's not like that. So players go very easy abroad. Even for little money, they go to smaller leagues in Europe, to Estonia, to Armenia, and some of also bigger leagues. So I wanted to make a list. I made a list of over 130 players of Gambia playing abroad. And I went to travel around. I went to scout them, to meet them, because I didn't want to select the best players, but I wanted to select the best team. Sometimes players can play in a big club abroad or in a big team in the local league, but are not suitable for the team. And you need the right mix. I remember when I was in Ethiopia, I was the one who selected Asrat. No one thought about him as an important player for the national team, but he was very useful in the ball recovery in the midfield. And I did the same in Gambia, looking for players. Some of them were playing in lower leagues in Europe. Some of them were born in Europe. I have one player who played for Sweden youth national teams, one player for Switzerland youth national teams. I was talking to them for 2 years to convince them to play for us, and now they play for us. And Ethiopia has also several players playing in Europe and born in Europe. Some of them already chose to play for different countries. But I think it's worth to find some players, not every player, because it's not because you play abroad you are better, but you as a coach, you need to go and see them, you need to talk to them, see how is the personality, and it can be actually very useful to have a few players also who are developed abroad, because if you are born in Germany or in Sweden or in another country in Europe, most of the time you have already played football since you are 6-7 years old. With qualified coaches, you can bring something different. And I think the mixture, because we had players who were born in Gambia who stayed till 18, 19 in Gambia and moved then to Europe. We had players who were born in Europe, and we had a few players who went as a refugee to Europe. And the mixture of the different kind of players helped our team. And I think it's very important for Ethiopia, for other countries in Africa, to check all the possible players. It's possible. There are different internet programs you can find. You can search on nationality, second nationality. You can search on names. You know what kind of names Ethiopian people have, so you can find them easy on internet, and then you can see are they good players or not. And I think it helped our team to have the right mix of players.
Thank you, Coach. The third question will be, your team went through the group stage. How do you rate the advancement of your team in the AFCON? How do you rate it?
Yeah, I think it was not an easy group because we were with Tunisia, number 30 in the world, Mali, number 53 in the world, and Mauritania, 103 in the world. Three countries who were also in 2019 at AFCON, and Tunisia and Mali are big nations, or even in the running for the World Cup in Qatar. So we were the only team as newcomer in the tournament. And I knew we had a chance to compete with Mauritania, but we never thought we would get 7 points. I mean, Mali, for me, was maybe the strongest team. I think Mali is a very good football country, a lot of physical strength, a lot of qualities in the midfield in front. It was the toughest game, but we got a draw. And then winning against Tunisia was a big surprise, but we were already qualified before the match against Tunisia. We had 4 points, and because of the other results, we were already sure from the second round. But finishing with 7 points in the first group stage, only one goal conceded. We conceded only one penalty. We won 1-0, 1-1, and 1-0 win. Was impressive, and we celebrated it. I mean, for the team, for the country, it was already history to achieve that. It was already history to win our first game, but to get 7 points in this group with Mali and Tunisia is really a big surprise. And I think it was really a great performance of everyone of the team.
That's good, Coach. Now, I just want to ask you about the Ethiopian national team. It's a team you once managed. What's your observation about the Wally Antelopes participation in Cameroon?
Yeah, first of all, I have to say I didn't watch all the matches because I was occupied with Gambia, but naturally I followed it very close. Still, a few players from my team were there. Getane, Shemeles, they were still in the team, and I thought it was a group. Okay, Cameroon was the favorite. Burkina Faso is a good team, but Cape Verde would be for sure a team Ethiopia could win against. I think sometimes the team was playing too enthusiastic, forgetting about tactics, playing attacking football, but then losing. They scored early goal against Cameroon, but losing 4-1. And sometimes they had to play more composed, more tactical discipline, because the quality is there. Ethiopia has a good team. If you can win from Ivory Coast in the qualification, Ivory Coast is one of the major football countries in African football. You can win for sure from Cape Verde, and maybe you win a point against Burkina Faso and you go to the second round. So for me, I thought before the tournament Ethiopia had a chance to reach the second round as second or as third, because also the 4 best third could qualify. So it was a little bit a disappointment that they got kicked out in the first round, because there's a lot of quality. If you see the group, the skills, Ethiopia is a very skillful team. And like I said, they qualified impressive. If you can beat Ivory Coast, you don't have to be afraid even of Cameroon. But yeah, it didn't result in the right performances on the pitch. Sometimes they play good football, but in a tournament and a national team, good football is not enough. You need to get points. You need to win, to draw, and to get to the next round. And that was missing in this Ethiopian team.
Coach, we have been witnessing your love for Ethiopia. I can look behind your, there are shirts and number 6 is, jersey number 6 is Ethiopian one, maybe Alula's one.
Yes. This is a shirt from Alula when we played 2-2 against Nigeria.
Okay, in Addis Ababa. Yeah.
Yes.
Any plan of rejoining the Wally Antelopes in the near future?
It would be really a dream for me to return to Ethiopia. In 2011 I was national team coach of Ethiopia. At that time, Ethiopia was a little bit same situation as Gambia when I arrived. I remember that the coach before me, they lost 4-0 in Abuja. They lost 4-1 at home against Guinea-Conakry. And no one believed really in football. When I came to the press conference, people said, what can you do here? We are not a football country. And my first match with Ethiopia 10 days after my arrival is one of the most special matches in my career. I still sometimes watch on YouTube the highlights and the national anthem when 30,000 people were singing the anthem in Addis Ababa was impressive. I get now also goosebumps when I talk about it. It's really an amazing atmosphere. And with the team, with Saladin Said, Alula Girma, Adama Girma, all these boys, we worked very good together, also with the technical team and the federation. And I remember traveling around in Ethiopia to go to Adama, to go to Yirgalem, to travel around, to see a lot of football matches, to see the passion of football for the fans, but also for the players. It was an impressive experience. And I wanted to stay that time because I really believed that I could guide Ethiopia to the Africa Cup and to the World Cup in 2014. And I hope maybe in the future to return. At the moment, I have still a contract with Gambia, and I'm very happy with Gambia. It's going well, and I'm very, very supported by Federation. I work with good players and a good staff. But in my heart, I still dream and hope to return in the future to Ethiopia.
I hope it will be happen soon. Because Coach, as a journalist, I know you work very hard. And I know your love about Ethiopian football, because I was with you in Adama, even when you went to Awasa and Yirgalem watching Sidama Bunna and Awasa Kadama, I saw a good quality about you. And I will wait to see that thing to happen. Let me go to my question, Coach. You have an experience on the Ethiopian football and see a lot of experienced football players. What do you think about the Ethiopian players' natural technical skills? Do you think the Ethiopian players have a gifted technical skills?
Yeah, I think that Ethiopian players in general are more skillful than many other African countries. They are very skillful technically. They play good combination football. They have good dribble. They can good play combination short passes. That's a quality, and you see that when you watch the league in Ethiopia. You see a lot of skillful players, and also in the national team. And I think the last 10 years, Shemiles is one of the biggest examples who made a fantastic career also in Egypt. Because he is very skillful, and Egypt is normally one of the top countries in African football, and he was an important player there. And Ethiopian players have that skill, but in football, you need a combination between skill and tactical discipline, and also physical power. And I think it's always important to find that combination, that you don't only select the best skillful players, but that you also, like I said, Asrat Megersma was an important player, but also the physical strength of Adama Girma and other people. Degu in the central defense was not so big, but he had a very good interception. You need players who can do ball recovery. You need players who are physical strong. You need the speed of the Saladin Said, of Olmot, or other players. Football is a combination between a lot of things. It's between skills, tactical intelligence, physical strength, and naturally also the right personality and the right mixture. And the technical skills of Ethiopian football is much higher than the average technical skills in African football. But as a coach, I think you need to find also different type of players, because the moment you play Africa Cup, you meet the best teams of Africa. And they are also good teams, so you need to have different qualities in your team, because every match is different, and even in parts of your match is different. You need to make changes to change the game, and that's important. But Ethiopia has so much quality, and you see that when you watch the local league. You see so many quality players in the big clubs, but also in the smaller clubs. Ethiopia is a very gifted country when you talk about football skills.
Let me add a short point on this. I remember you were calling two midfield players, Xavi and Iniesta, David Stefanos and Masai Pasika Asfau, on the pre-tournament training in Adama. Do you really mean it? Do they have got the capability of the ability, the skills like Xavi and Iniesta?
The difference is when you talk about the top players in the world, it's the execution, the speed of execution. For African football, they really have these qualities to play fast football. But sometimes you have also the problem with pitches. I mean, in some stadiums you have not a good football pitch, and then it's difficult to play fast combination football. But for me, these Ethiopian players have the skills of the top players in Europe. The tempo of execution could lay higher in Europe, but you can train it. Imagine that young Ethiopian players would take the step to Europe, get physically a little bit stronger, because sometimes the physical presence in Europe is important. Don't forget that Xavi and Iniesta are also, they are not so tall, but they are also physical strong. They can use their body if there are tackles and so on. And I believe that some Ethiopian players can make that step to Europe, get used to the tempo, because the difference between Spain, Barcelona, even Spain and Belgium league, the difference is both players can play football and are very skillful, but the difference is the tempo of execution. And that's the same with Ethiopia. When you play in the Ethiopian league, they are all very skillful, but the tempo of execution, the speed of the action is a little bit lower in Ethiopia compared to Belgium or compared to Spain. But you can lift up the level when you make a transfer to a team abroad, and improve that. And that's sometimes the interesting part from finding players, Ethiopian players playing in Europe, because sometimes the tempo is a little bit higher and also the physical strength. But I really believe that if you see the how they can hold the ball, how they can make dribbles, short combinations, Ethiopian players have that natural gifted talent compared to the top players of Spain. Only the tempo of execution is a little bit lower.
Coach, in 2022 in AFCON, you are the best coach in AFCON because it was a dark horse for Gambia to reach in that knockout stage. So now you become one of the best coach in AFCON. Do you think that you put a legacy in AFCON?
Oh, football is very, very relative. I mean, if you win, you're good. If you lose, you are not good anymore. So it's always like that. But I mean, I'm working now 13, 14 years in African football, and many people know that I brought something. I brought something to Ethiopian football. I brought something to Namibian football, also in Togo and also in Gambia. And I try always to do my best. But as a coach, you are depending of a team. You are depending of your players, your technical team, your medical team, your federation. And the success of Gambia, and it's nice, and I feel very honored to be seen as one of the best coaches in AFCON. But the success of Gambia is also the success of the whole federation. And I push my federation to improve and to get better step by step. And I think that's always what I try to do everywhere. And naturally, I'm eager. I want to be also in the future in AFCON in 2023, 2025. I want to do more, and I want to achieve more as a coach. That's normal. The pressure will be higher because now we finished sixth, so it will be more tough. But we will see. But I think some people who didn't know me or who are doubting, I proved now that by bringing Gambia to sixth position in AFCON ahead of big countries like Algeria, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Tunisia, Nigeria, we ended all ahead of them. I proved something. But for me, most important is that the people I work with are happy. And sometimes you can play very good and still lose a match. And sometimes you can play bad and win a match. So you need also a little bit luck in football.
Coach, thanks for your time. For today, we have finished our questions.